So we're bringing on our first book club facilitator for tonight. Her name is Jackie Handy, and her book club is called the Mommy Network Book Club, and she's going to tell us how they came up with that name. And her book club is based where I am, right here in Houston, Texas. So, Jackie, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
So, the Mommy Network Book Club, how long have you all been in existence?
Okay, I'm going to give you a little backstory.
Okay.
We officially became the Mommy Network in around about 2003, so 20 years ago.
Oh.
But we were not always a book club. So the way we started out was there were a group of us who had our young babies in a daycare here in the Houston area. And we used to always go back and forth to each one of the other kids' birthday parties, and we would kind of socialize at the birthday parties or whatever, but we didn't ever socialize as a group of ladies. So one day we decided, why don't we do something for ourselves? And we decided to start planning activities for us. And, it started out as doing dinners and, fun things. And then it kind of grew into social outings and other type of activities like doing donations during the holidays and other type of activities where we would do outreach and things of that nature. And then as we continued to do those type of things, it became closer as a group. We decided to start reading books. So the actual book club became official around 2010. So we kind of just hung out as a group and supported each other. With the kids, of course, you're always going to have issues, ups and downs, and you needed people to bounce things off of. So we kind of took that opportunity to become friends and confidants and things of that nature before we actually started reading books.
Okay.
And
So were you going?
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Rhonda.
No, I was just wondering. So, when was that moment when you said let's start reading books? And then, what types of books did you choose? Did you choose maybe children's books first, and then, or parental books, and then move from there?
I guess I can't remember the exact aha moment where we said, wow, we want to be a book club, but I know I've always been a reader. And I just have always enjoyed books and just always, had something in my hands that I was reading. So I think it was just kind of organic that we said, why don't we start, reading books and meeting on a more regular basis? Because before we were probably meeting once a quarter, doing activities or what have you. But then once we decided to become a book club, we knew we would have to set a schedule and kind of make it more consistent and more organized. So we just kind of grew organically. But then in terms of the type of books we would read, each person that was a member of the club got to pick a book. You would host it, host that particular book review, and you would select whatever book you liked. So we would read everything from, well, I'll tell you, our very first book was The Shack. If you guys remember that book, that was our very first book. So it's, a fictional, a fictional
What is
book.
about end times or something?
Sort of, yeah, it was biblically
Okay.
based. It
Okay.
had some, biblical basis to it. But we've read everything from mysteries to historical fiction, biographies, memoirs. So whatever the person who's in charge of that particular session gets to pick what they like to read. Personally, I like historical fiction, so I'll pick a lot of those types of books. But we had a wide variety of books that we would read.
That's Gwen's genre right there.
That's my main genre. It is.
Mhm.
Although I'll read any book that's good, that's well written, has good character development, and grabs me. But
Mhm.
fiction is what I like. But historical is my favorite. But I like mysteries as well. And
Mhm.
just regular fiction. If it's well written, it has to make sense, and it has to be believable. I like believable characters and a believable plot. I don't
Well, I
read
feel like I can
fantasy.
identify with the characters in
Yeah,
some.
yes. It's not too far-fetched. Some stuff. Now, there are some people who can write far-fetched and do a good job.
Yeah, I've read some that were kind of out of my norm, and I really enjoyed it. It surprised me that I enjoyed it as much as I did. So I do like to kind of branch out and read things that I wouldn't pick. I'm in a couple of other book clubs as well, and one of them in particular really stretches me. They pick things that, and it's a virtual book club, so we never really meet in person, but we do a blog and that type of thing. But they will pick books that I would have never even dreamed of reading, and it kind of, excites me sometimes. The most recent one that I read with that book club is called The Lost City of the Monkey God. Never heard of it. Had no idea what it was all about. And it was about this researcher who they were exploring Honduras. And so it kind of went into that whole thing about, discovering these undiscoverable places and trying to find treasures that were lost from like centuries ago. But it was good. It surprised me that I enjoyed it.
Hmm. So how many people are in your club? On average.
Currently, we have 5. We've been as large as 12, and now we're at 5, but they're 5 strong, steady, solid people.
The people that you can depend on to read the book.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I wanted to go back to what you just said when you said that sometimes your members pick something that you would have never dreamed of. Was there ever a book, and maybe it was the one that you just named, but was there ever a book where you're like, I don't want to read, why did they choose that? I'm not reading that. And then you went ahead and read it and it wound up surprising you.
Well, me personally, I'll read almost anything. So I don't really try to judge the books or prejudge the books before I get into them. But now there's some that I've started and I was like, I'm not sure about this. And there was one in particular, and I'm not going to name it, that I don't think anybody in the book club, I know nobody in the book club finished it. We started it and we just could not get through
Well, I hope
that.
it wasn't one of my books.
No, ma'am, no.
We've
but
done that
but
too. Our book club has done that too, where nobody finished. Uh, you know, and it's funny, a lot of times when that happens, everybody kind of stops at the same point.
That's interesting.
Stop reading around the same point, and they get to, and then it's like, no, I'm out of here.
Now,
Yeah.
a lot of people have a certain point where if it doesn't pick up by the time I get to this point, I'm going to stop reading. I think for me, I've always tried to push through a book, even if I didn't like it, because I'm really hoping that by the time I get to the end, it will all come together and be really good. So I'm one of those people, I guess maybe I'm a glutton for punishment. I'll keep reading. But there are some people who say if it doesn't pick up by, let's say, the 50th page, they're going to stop reading it.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like you. I will push through. I'm just like, man, I said I was going to do this, and I'm just going to push through and make it happen. Except for that one book. It's only been one that I could not make it through.
And I'm one of those people. 50, I give you 50 pages. You got to make me interested in what you're writing by about page 50. It needs to be going somewhere, making sense, have some characters I care about, and not just describing scenery, you know. Scenery can be a character, but there needs to be people. I've never read a book where where scenery was the only character. So, but I have some other friends that will, if they start, they feel like they have to finish, and they'll plow on through and try to, hang on. I'm like, what? Life's too short. I don't waste my time reading something that's not. I got a to be read stack, so I can just move on to the next one.
Well, I think for me though, Gwen, too, is especially if it's something that the book club has picked. I'm in, like I said, a couple of different book clubs. If it's something that a book club that I'm in has picked, I will definitely push through. Now, if it's something I picked up on my own and it doesn't quite grab me, then maybe I'll lay it down and come back to it later. Now, I have a couple of books that I've had to lay down and come back to, lay down and come back to. But if it's something that a book club has really, said they wanted to discuss, I'll try my best to make it through.
Yeah, I tried, but I'll quit. I will. I was telling them, look, I tried. I couldn't make it. I couldn't get into it. Um, now, what do you all read any self-published authors' books?
We may have read one or two. It's not something that we kind of seek out. We probably 85% of our books are by Black authors, and it's not necessarily on purpose, but that's just how it happens. We didn't say we're only going to read Black authors, but about 85% of them are. Actually, I have this one book that I'm personally going to read that is a self-published book, and if I like it, I'll probably present it to the book club to have us all read it. But that's not something we have, tried to seek out specifically.
So if
Barbara
person
asked,
starts, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, Barbara Crump asked, how do you get recommendations for your book club? So I guess do people email you their books? Do you just find something that you'd be interested in reading? How do you get your recommendations?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, there's only 5 of us, so we meet every other month, and we take off the summers for the most part. So we pretty much read anywhere from 5 to 6 books a year, and so each person, kind of selects their own. How I determine which ones I read, I get like the different lists from Barnes and Noble and Amazon, and the New York Times. So I'll kind of just peruse those lists and recommendations from people like Gwen. Gwen and I talk about books a lot as well. So for me personally, I'll just reach out to different sources to find the books that I think I want to recommend to the group. And trust me, they do stretch far and wide. Like I said, I have kind of my lane that I stay in for the most part, but some of my other book club members, they go different directions. So it kind of makes it fun to see the variety that we get a chance to read.
That is great. So, have you, because you said you like historical fiction, are you familiar with, it's a Facebook group? Oh, I think it's called the Personal Librarian Chat.
I am very familiar. One of
Okay.
my good friend is one of the leads in that group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's a small world. I didn't know if you knew about it. They have something big coming up with Rashonda with her new book coming out.
Absolutely. I've been invited to it. I won't be able to make it, unfortunately, but yeah, she did call me and we talked about that. And I'm excited for her. I think it's going to be a great event.
It sounds like it's having some kind of uh mansion or
It's at the El Dorado Club downtown.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And it sounds, the lady who's over it, and she's been on the show. I can't
Okay.
recall her name, but she's maybe a year ago she was on telling us about her.
Tammy Smithers? Was it
Yes.
Tammy?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
Tammy
that's my
Smith.
friend.
Yes,
Yeah, I
ma'am.
know her very
Oh,
well.
okay.
Everybody,
She
your friend Jackie, you know everybody.
Not really.
Everybody we name like, oh, that's my friend. I know her. I'm like, oh,
But yeah,
it.
Tammy and I go way back though. We really do. Before the book club, before all of this, we've
Oh,
known each
okay.
other. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she does a really good job of making the, an outing out of the book. I mean, she
Mhm.
takes the book that they select, and they only do historical fiction by Black women, written by Black women. And they do something every month. I think at least 10 books a year that they do, because they presented their 2024 list not too long ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
I don't keep up with them that closely, but I do every now and then hear about, especially events like what she's planning, in the next couple of weeks. I hear about things like that as well. Mhm.
yeah, I follow their page. So, and just about every book that she picked, either the person has already been on the show
Okay.
or they have a book coming out soon and they'll be on the show. So we've had almost all the authors that they focused on. And
Okay.
Rashonda will be on next month with her new book.
Exciting. That's great. That's really good.
Yeah. So if you had to give someone advice who was thinking about starting a book club, what advice would you give them?
Ooh. Um, I tend to be a pretty organized person, I think, in my mind. So, for me, it starts with kind of having some structure to it. So, decide on how often you're going to meet. Decide on, if you're going to let people host it, themselves, and whether they're going to do it in their homes or the location type of thing. Um, you might want to even put parameters around um, how long the books are going to be. We've had some discussion about how long of a book you are comfortable reading. Some people don't like to read more than 350 pages, whereas other people are comfortable with 500 pages. So you might want to kind of maybe have that discussion as well. Um, I don't know if there's a whole lot of rules and regulations behind it because, a lot of times book clubs, you'll start off with a group of people and they may not all last for one reason or another. So don't be afraid to go up and go down, in terms of the number of people in your club. But I just think that the main things are, finding a structure around how often you're going to read, how you're going to do the reviews, whether it's going to be one person that's always leading it or you rotate that thing, where you're going to be meeting, some basic things like that. Other than that, I think, in terms of the genre, I like to leave it open. I like to try different things. So I wouldn't necessarily say you have to pinpoint that as well.
Makes sense.
Mhm. Now, are you all accepting members in your
We are
club?
not at this
Closed.
time.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we're not.
Oh,
Got
so
you.
you purposely want to keep it small and intimate,
Yes, yes.
which I don't see anything wrong with that because just the way you've described your group, you want people that you can depend on to read the book, people that you know, and sometimes the dynamics of a group can change when you start to include too many people.
Exactly. And another good thing that we do, another fun thing that we do is we started about 3, 4 years ago of taking annual summer girls trips. So each summer we pick a new location to kind of go and just hang out and just have fun. And I'll just tell you, just from doing that for the past couple of years, trying to coordinate schedules and trying to pick locations and trying to make sure everybody is happy can be a challenge just with 5 people. So that's another reason we like keeping it small. So it's easier for us to really kind of make things like that work and work out well for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. We've done that, but not lately. Not since COVID. And we probably need to do that again. The club that I'm in. Well, I'm in two clubs. I'm in the Fallbrook book club. Jackie and I know each other. We're members of the same church, and we're at Fallbrook, where the National Black Book Festival is held. And we're also in the choir together, but not in the same section.
And we're in the book club together too, the Fallbrook Book Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, I haven't been going like I should be going.
I know. I noticed your
But
absence.
I was there in December and hardly anybody came. so,
Yeah,
so
it's
but
been
they're
kind of
re-
up and down.
yeah, but they're reading my book for February, so I'm excited about that. They're reading Exodus from Treachery. So they read the Genesis files when it was, years ago. And so they're reading that. So I'm excited about that.
And we'll be reading your book in May because that's my month to pick a book. So we'll be happy to have you come and visit with us virtually in May.
Right. And I will say book clubs are a great way to get your, readers talking about your book, reading your book. When what I did was, of course, I have my own resources, but I just reached out to the book clubs and said, look, my book is coming out, consider it. So that's all you can do. Some of them said yes. And so, it doesn't hurt to ask. And not all of them are going to say yes, but you don't need all of them. If you get some
Right.
of
Just
them,
need a few.
you need a few, and then the buzz from word of mouth. They'll tell if they like the book, they'll tell their friends, and then you're off to the races from there.
Absolutely.
So, but book clubs are a great way to um, get your book out there. What I did was I actually sent my book to the facilitators of the club. and then with a letter asking them if they would consider reading. And then I sent a follow-up email. I'm very organized too. So, so that's the way I approached it. I approached it like any, as a business, because if they're going to be reading my book, that means they're either buying the book, or even if they just read it, if they have Amazon, is it Amazon Prime or Kindle Unlimited, where you can read the books and I think it's Kindle Unlimited.
I'm sorry, Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, Kindle.
Where they can read the book, and I think they can read so many books a month. I don't know. I don't have Kindle Unlimited, but it's some unlimited amount of reading you can do for an inexpensive price. So even though
all your books are self-published, Gwen?
all of my books are self-published.
Okay.
But what I do, I have professionals that do my cover, do my editing, formatting. I hire professionals to do those parts. And so I write the book, and then, or illustrations, like with my children's books, I hire illustrators. So I write the words, and then I hire people for the parts that need to be done to make my books look professional.
Right. Yeah.
So if you, what do you all have? Do y'all have any plans this year for a trip yet? Somewhere you all are going?
We do actually. And we decided early this year, which was great. So we already have plane tickets, already have our Airbnb picked out. So we're ready. We are going to Charleston, South Carolina this year.
Beautiful city. Beautiful city.
I've been there. It's really nice. And a lot of people go, but a nice tourist place. It's kind of slow. It's not a busy city.
There's enough to do. There's just enough to do. Lots of good restaurants. I've been once, and so another one of the book club members has been once before, but the other 3 have not. So we're all excited about it. And on top of that, there's a new museum that just opened up a few months back, I think, a Black museum in Charleston that I'm excited to go see.
Well, if you all get a chance when you're there, they have a really good bus tour that takes you places. And they have beautiful historical buildings. Like they kept some of the buildings from the 1700s, and they have the original sidewalks and things like that. They really maintain the history and the just historical flavor of the town.
I love about it. It's a beautiful city.
It is.
And the history is a little.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. But it is what it is.
Exactly. It is what it is.
So, well, Jackie.
Somebody asked an interesting question. Ethel Easter asked if you've ever chosen a girls' outing based on the location of a book that you've read.
We have not for our personal girls' trips, but I have done it myself. After I read The Personal Librarian, I actually had a trip to New York with my husband, and we went to visit the library. So I've done that on my own, but as a book club, we have not done that.
Oh, okay. So that was a trip to New York you told me about. You took, and was it last year?
It was maybe, might have been 2 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you had told me that you all were going to New York.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, let me see. Somebody else asked, he said he has Kindle Unlimited, and you can access up to 20 books at any given time.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah, and they give you a certain number of books that you can download. You just have to read them before you can add any other books to your collection.
Oh, okay. So it's not like an unlimited download, like,
it's not unlimited. You have a certain amount of books that you're able to download
at a given time. You
can't add any other books until you take a book off of your list.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's not bad. So let me see what. Oh, somebody asked about how do you self-publish. That's a long. That's too long to answer in this allotted time. However, one of my books is called "Write It Right: How to Self-Publish Your Best Book," and it's available on Amazon. So look up Gwen Richardson, and you'll see all my books. One of them is called "Write It Right," WRITE, and RIGHT, and that book helps people who don't know how to get started and they want to know how to get started. So That's for the audience. So anyway, Jackie, thank you so much for being a guest on Black Authors Matter TV. And I'll see you at church whenever we
Yes, you
have
will.
them.
Thank
So,
you for having me.
okay,
Thank you
thanks
for
so
being
much.
here.
All right. Good night.
Good night.